Hello and welcome to the latest of my Inside Tracks. Today I'm going to explore the conjunction between the Sun and the North Node, which becomes exact on the 24th of April. It's actually an energy that's been building up from the 21st and goes on to the 28th of April within 3 degrees. If you're a returning visitor to my channel, thank you so much for joining me once more. If you're new here, this is very much a community. Please share any thoughts you have. And I'd be most grateful if you would support me and click or tap on the subscribe button. Today I'm going to explore with you the combination between the Sun and the North Node in the sign of Taurus. This started to build up within 3 degrees from the 21st of April and will peak on the 24th, but also go on through to the 28th within that 3 degree orb. But why I feel that this is a particularly significant event is if we actually turn back the clock and look to when the North Node entered the sign of Taurus, it was the 18th of January 2022. Think about how things have changed in the economic environment since then. I'm not saying for a minute it was perfect then, but we also had on the 5th of May 2022 a conjunction between the Sun and Uranus, but a square between the North Node and Saturn. And that started to really bring a greater instability to bear. Then if we go through to the lunar eclipse of the 8th of November 2022, that saw the Sun and Mercury together in Scorpio, opposed by the Moon and Uranus together in a conjunction in Taurus, but T-squared by the very restrictive and limiting energies of Saturn. And that was the one that really set things rocking when it's come to the cost of energy, utilities, foods, and of course the cost of borrowing and the cost of rentals. And that energy has been sweeping into this year, so we've had a lot of interest rate rises. So I feel this combination between the Sun and the North Node at a time when Mercury in the sign of Taurus is in retrograde is really giving us a collective position on where we're up to. Now I'm showing on the screen now exactly when this occurs. It's at 3:10 p.m. Universal Time. As ever, I'm basing my chart on Greenwich that we can all collectively look at, and very interestingly you can see from the chart that it puts Mercury, Uranus, the Sun, the North Node all in the sign of Taurus. But particularly interesting, the North Node and the Sun and Mercury are in house 8, which has a very scorpionic feel. So I feel that this is a kind of reckoning point for where we are. Now obviously no one wants to be incurring all these extra costs, and the shakeout can start to improve once we have the lunar eclipse of the 5th and 6th of May, followed by Jupiter's emergence into Taurus on the 16th of May. And I feel that that can bring some better news, but of course then Jupiter will go retrograde from the early part of September right through to the end of 2023. So we're certainly not out of the woods, but the North Node itself will retreat into the sign of Aries on the 13th of July for another new 18 months journey. So I feel that what basically the North Node has been asking us to do is to understand the value of resources. And that's a difficult lesson when we've got caught up in enjoying things, you know, freely available. We've become very much a consumer society for the most part in the Western world. But of course it's not as simple as that if you're not fortunate enough to be part of that system. So if you're somewhere else and food stuff or even basic water and sanitation is not so available to you, then that is not such a digestible story for us, but it is the reality for some people. So I feel this is a reckoning point, and the fact it's in house 8 can see some more revelations. So particularly to do with the types of financial instruments that are used, the different trades, and of course the people who have the power of those trades, because we live in a digital world, things move very, very quickly, and it could be that we are going to have more resetting going on in order to get to a point where things feel more stable again. So I feel that this is asking us to really be very conscious of our use of resources, how we value things, how we value our deep connections to others, the 8th house. It can see some revelations. Maybe some of those revelations will be to do with the improper use of resources, because Pluto is in the sign of Aquarius, which is very much the truth seeker, in a square with the North Node and the Sun. But in a very positive way, Saturn, the planet of structure, is actually in a very stable link to the Sun and the North Node, and in the 6th house of practicality. So it's asking us to try to be a bit thriftier, to be more conscious of how we use things, but also how we appreciate things. But I think it is possible that we are going to see more revelations coming into the open. And of course, the axis of Taurus and Scorpio can be about intimacy, it can be about sex. It's not just about the ins and outs of money and our values and self-worth. It can be our intimate connections to others. So it's going to be very interesting with the position of Pluto where it is and how it impacts on the greater awareness that we're developing around financial systems, how we earn a living. All these things are in a rapid state of change, and you know, obviously Taurus energy likes a degree of stability, as does Scorpio energy. But at the moment, having that North Node Sun conjunction in the 8th house is asking us to dive deep to really understand what the true meaning of our lives are and what our true values are really predicated upon. Thank you so much for joining me. If you would like to have a one-to-one with me, please see the link below for my testimonials and my booking form. Or if you would like to ascend above zodiac astrology and understand how the patterns of astrology can work so positively in your situation, if you give me 3 pieces of your personal birth data, I can produce for you your life roadmap report, but also my special package of 30% off your 12-month forecast. These can give you searing insights into your situation and help guide your moves more astutely. If you don't know your time, I have developed a new package based on your Sun as the 1st house, so no ascendant and with an assumed moon at midday. Not perfect in terms of more serious astrology, but if you don't know that time, this will certainly give you a lot of extra insights. Please see the link below for more.